right. Do you see a characteristic in you that has let you see that you've been mentored versus that you've not seen it?
That's hard. That's hard. I do a lot of reflection. So not just for like things like today, like I don't have a diary. I don't keep a journal regularly, but there have been lots of milestones in my life where things have gone sideways. I've actually been laid off 4 times from different agencies in my career, where you have to be like, what happens next? And I sat down and did a lot of like soul searching and told myself these kinds of stories, and you start to see themes. Right. And I also am a strategist, and I do see lots of connections. And so it's allowed me to figure these things out. But honestly, like I really do mean it. When I was thinking about this topic, like some of these people, I was like, I never thought about them in this way before. And when I think about like the steps that took to bring me here today, like they were incredibly meaningful, and I didn't even know it until now. So I think it's just sort of, I don't know, thinking about it a lot and doing the work.
Thanks for sharing, Amanda. Love your story. What did you learn from the waffle business?
So, I'm sad my waffle partner's not here. I thought she might be here today. So, with another strategist from Zeus Jones, actually, I started a frozen waffle company just before the pandemic. It was called Wallflower Foods. Katie and I both did a lot of strategy work for companies like General Mills, and we like saw there was a hole in the waffle market. Like Eggos are like cardboard, and they're like very uninspired. And we had this delicious Liège style waffle in Vancouver, and we were like, we're going to make this waffle. And we did pop-ups, including here, and lots of other places, but we never wanted a restaurant. We never wanted a window. Like, we always wanted to be a CPG brand. Like, go as far as you can. Like, why not? Like, why not try to be in Target? And we did pretty well, actually. So we were in 11 stores. We had been accepted to a distributor. We would have been in 16, then 22, then many more stores. And we actually closed the business 5 years after we started because we ran into a manufacturing problem. And I promise I'm getting to the point in a second, but there was like no one who could manufacture that kind of waffle in the United States. Most of them come from overseas. You can incidentally buy them all over the place now. We were way ahead of our time. And none of those people would make our product. Like, we were all butter. We had like less sugar than the other ones. We used organic ingredients, and all those manufacturers were like, you can just white label our crappy waffle. And we talked to multiple manufacturers, and they all told us the same thing. Like, if you want to scale, then you need to like have efficiencies, and your product will have to be this. And so we made the decision to shut the company down because we couldn't deliver a product that we wanted. And that was like the hardest lesson I learned, because we had put so much work into this brand. It was a beautiful, beautiful brand. The waffles were so delicious. We had flavors you can't get anywhere else. But at the end of the day, thank you, Tammy. At the end of the day, we made the decision that if we couldn't do it our way, we wouldn't do it. Even though the opportunity to grow and scale and get our brand out there was right in front of us, it wasn't worth it to compromise the product. There were lots of other lessons, but that was the one that, like, the day we were like, are we done? We're like, we feel okay about that because we're not going to compromise our values to do it.
Those waffles were so good.
They're real good.
Still
have a very expensive waffle maker in my basement.
We're going to pass the mic down the row here. You're okay.
I feel like we just did a torch passing ceremony there. Hey, Amanda. I noticed that your story it was stories of mentorship at a certain point in your life.
Yeah.
And it was also you were like, I don't know, it was like in the 90s and early 2000s. Does mentorship have an age? And do you graduate kind of from mentor or mentee to mentor?
That's a great question. It's one we talk about all the time in Wintry Mix, actually. I do have mentors now. Like, they show up in the form of colleagues. Some of them are sitting here in the second row who have been incredible mentors to me in my career. Folks like Eliza, who's sitting there with purple hair, who's like helped me run Wintry Mix for the last several years. I've worked with career coaches. I have had mentors. A lot of my choice to tell those early stories was that there was a point when I was like, this person that I had become was because of all of those people. And there wasn't like as much of that when I looked at like, okay, about to turn 50. It wasn't the same. It didn't have the same kind of impact. Like, I was a little more fully formed. Like, I did have more confidence, and the sort of support that I needed was different. And it felt more like support than someone being like, hey, you know what? You're not a copywriter, you're a strategist. So it was very different, but we need support forever. We need our networks forever. It's why I'm so bullish on continuing to have an organization that provides that. Like, we need those networks. We need this today, and this kind of support, and we need more of these. So I think you never stop needing the support. I think what you need from it changes a lot. And I think if you are sort of later in career and you think you need a mentor, you should think a lot about what it is you actually need and what you're asking your friend or your coworker or your boss or whoever to provide for you. We have a lot of mentees who, maybe they're like, I don't know, 8 years of experience somewhere in there, and they're like, I can't possibly be a mentor. Like, I've never... and so we actually help people a lot, like, make that transition, because you have so much to share. You have all these lived experiences. And mentorship isn't about telling people what to do. It's about sort of seeing them and understanding what they do need in terms of guidance. But, like, my job isn't to tell you to quit your job, right? My job is to help you understand, like, your situation and how you feel about it and how you might feel in a bunch of different situations. But I think you can be a mentor at any age and any experience level. And I think as, a person, you need mentorship forever. So yeah, hope that answered your question. Hi.
Hi, I had a question as well, similar lines, but I'd love to hear a little bit about what did mentorship look like for you then in paying that back to other people throughout your journey?
Yeah.
And so throughout those different stages, like,
Sure.
how did that develop a little bit?
Yeah.
And how do you not find people to mentor, but how did that maybe develop organically?
Yeah.
For you?
I mean, that happens in so many different ways. I started doing a lot of explicit mentorship when I worked for Current, because I was the only woman who worked in the product team or the engineering team. We had no female engineers. There were no other women in product. All the women were in editorial and marketing, shocking, and HR. And I felt that it was incredibly important that I not have happened to other people what happened to me, it was bad. That's a different talk, but it was bad. And so I did start finding women in San Francisco who were in technology, who were coming up. I joined organizations. I met people through friends. I just sort of made myself open to it. And it's something that I was so incredibly passionate about. And I think that really kickstarted my journey. When I moved to this market, I joined Minneapolis Madwomen, which is the precursor to Wintry Mix. I joined the board there in 2016. I had no community here. Like, I didn't grow up here. I don't have friends from kindergarten here. The only people I knew were my husband and his ex-wife, who's sitting right there and who is awesome, who is so awesome. And that was it. So I had to find a community. Mad Women gave me that community. And so I started meeting people that way. And again, I was just really open. I was like, I had all these weird experiences. If you want to hear about them, if you need someone to talk to about your own weird experiences, like, come talk to me. For a while, I actually had on LinkedIn my door is always open. If you are a woman in this business who needs a friend, like, DM me. Not very many people took me up on it, but like 5 women did, actually. They lived everywhere. One of them lived in France. And I would just take meetings with people, and some of those relationships continued to grow. And then there was a time, like Mad Women started as an event organization, and there was a time when Me Too happened, and then there were lots of event organizations that did the same work. We decided to pivot into mentorship. And so we launched explicitly a mentorship program, again, providing one-to-one mentorship. I ran that program for a bunch of years. The Brand Lab, by the way, plug for Brand Lab, helped us create like our early mentorship frameworks because they did that work so well. And it's just sort of snowballed from there. So people introduce their friends to me. People come up to me at events like this. I just make time for it. And I think, if I can say anything, like you have to prioritize it. Like if you want to do it, you have to make time for it. I don't cancel on people unless I have to. I don't reschedule on people unless I have to. Like it is a priority on my schedule and my life. And I make time to do it. But it happens lots and lots of ways.
Let's give Amanda a round of applause. We're sorry we have no more time for questions. Good job. All right, we're going to wrap up with a couple last announcements and get you all out of here. We sometimes pause for a few minutes to have you turn to your neighbor and talk. Here's a little question you can talk about with your new friends on the way out. Who's someone that made a lasting creative impact on your life? Maybe it was mentorship, maybe it was something else, maybe it was somebody you haven't thought of for a while, maybe it was somebody that you talk to all the time. Share those things. Those are great stories to share and inspire each other with. So talk about that on your way out. Couple last announcements. Big thanks to our media team, to Travis over here, shooting video. We're working on talks. Most of our talks from the last months are up, so please go watch those, share those with people. We've had a lot of really awesome speakers. Big thanks to Travis. If you ever need video work, he's your guy. And speaking of media and content, if you guys have taken any nice little photos this morning, please tag us on Instagram. We will be sure to repost you. We want to see what you saw today, this morning at Creative Mornings. Big thank you to our fantastic volunteer team for all the work that they do. Please raise your hand if you're a volunteer and you're in here. Most of them are out in the lobby doing a little cleanup.